Raul Rosas versus
Raul
Christian Rodriguez.
Raul Rosas. My thought of that fight is I think Christian Rodriguez fought a good fight. He was very composed in his fight. When he was in danger, he didn't panic, he didn't flip out. He was actually very calm. I think that's a great thing because that means when he's dealing with adversity, he doesn't let it get to him. He's still able to think through the process through the process of emotions or whatever he's going through, and he was able to overcome. And he ended up. I think he could have actually finished him, but I just don't know why he didn't try to pull the trigger more. Maybe he was just trying to be cautious, trying to play safe and not get caught in anything. And if that's the case, then that's kind of smart. But I was impressed with Christian Rodriguez. He derailed a hype train, and I think it was a good showing for Christian Rodriguez. So I'm pretty eager to see what the UFC is going to do with him next. Raul, he shouldn't hang his head low, but there should be a real dose of reality that he should go back to his camp or wherever he trains at. So this way he can work on a more of an all around game instead of just trying to go for the takedown nonstop. And then if this was back in like 2008, Raul would have been a monster. But since obviously it's not 2008, 2023, Raul needs to develop an all around game because some of these guys, even with the same amount of experience, they got to answer for everything that's being thrown at them. So hopefully he retools this, he learns from his loss, and it's still real early in his career. The guy is only 18 years old, real early in his career to turn things around and develop. So I wouldn't hang his head too low. I think that honestly, in this point in his career, he's probably going to be taking a few losses, but he needs that to develop him into a better fighter. Especially if he really wants to go for it. But with all that talk of him beating Aljamain Sterling right now, I think this fight just showed all that has been put to bed.
To me, when I hear people say anything about him fighting Aljamain Sterling, that just sounds like, that's a fan that, likes the hype train a little bit too much on some of these fighters. And we saw a few of the hype trains get derailed on Saturday night. And that's what I really liked about 287. I thought that was you see a lot of these fighters that get brought into the UFC, and whether it's the fans or the machine behind them, for whatever reason, they have certain type of hype. Raul Rosas, he had a little bit of a hype train, but at the same point in time, he's a very young, person, to be in the UFC, the youngest fighter ever in the UFC. So I don't think that people should have expected him to steamroll his way to the champion, immediately. That would have been very rare and, definitely a thing to see. But at the same point in time, I'm not sure why people would expect that. Him taking this loss on Saturday isn't the worst thing that could have happened to him. I think that he, just needs time to grow into his MMA career, and probably over some time, because he is 18, he will become like a decent fighter. But the fact that he's able to make it to the UFC at this point in time is impressive. So, congrats to him. I'm sure he'll come back and be better.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Sage Northcutt from a few years ago, if you remember that. I think
Yeah, I saw
Sage
somebody.
Northcutt, yeah, I think he was also 18 or turning 19, something like that. And he also won his first fight, but then his second fight, it was a bit more challenging for him. So I think this should show for all the young fighters who are 18, 19, looking to get into UFC, got to understand once you get there, these guys are a lot tougher. Some of these guys, this is all they have. So they're not going to let some young kid take food off their table for their family. And they're going to fight a lot more serious. They're going to try to derail the hype train. So um, definitely credit to Christian Rodriguez.